So in preparation for getting my soil ready for the oncoming season, I have to add a few things, and I've already added things such as cow manure and horse manure and chook manure into my soil, and that's what's given it a really nice friability. You can almost smell it. But also things such as dolomite. This is an important step that often people don't realise is a good thing to actually add. Dolomite adds a certain level of calcium into the soil. Calcium is a vital element to have for all growing plants, and most of our vegetables actually enjoy that calcium content. They like a slightly alkaline soil, except for the things such as tomatoes that like it slightly acidic, but they also need calcium to keep them nice and strong and to guard against problems such as blossom end rot. The other thing I'm going to be adding into my garden also is sulfate of potash. Now, sulfate of potash is a very important step to put in as well. It will help promote flowering of all of your vegetable plants. So things such as zucchinis, pumpkins, tomatoes, chilies, capsicums, all those things, they need to flower, and to bring out the flowers, the sulfate of potash will certainly aid with that. You can also add a little bit of superphosphate if you need to, but it's not overly necessary. Now, with the dolomite, as I mentioned before, dolomite brings with it a certain level of magnesium, and that's a vital step because all plants require magnesium to take up other nutritional values in the soil. And our soil's a little bit depleted. There are some sections of southeast Queensland that have a higher magnesium count, but you can do a soil test at home. One last step to remember is always do a pH test in your garden prior to adding anything, because you may already have high levels of alkalinity, in which case you can skip the step of using lime or dolomite in your soil. So all of these things are going to aid with the vegetables growing nice and strong. It'll help guard against pests and disease. Well, that's also what potash does, and you'll find that the plants will grow really nice and healthy, and you too can get a nice crop in your vegetable garden.
Okay, Roman, so one of the most productive parts of your garden is your beehives. Tell me a little bit about the bees and how much honey you really are getting, and the flavour of this wonderful honeycomb.
Yeah, people don't realize that a beehive is the most efficient system you can have on a garden. We started bees, we didn't have an idea about beekeeping, so I read some book, went to a beekeepers club, and that's how we started. And the first year we harvested from one hive 160 kilos of honey.
That's a lot of honey, isn't it?
That's a lot. Have a try.
This looks pretty good. You'll just
That's
have
a
to...
raw honey which we harvested just recently.
Oh,
yeah.
Yum. For those of you at home that can't experience this, this is great. It's very floral. Very sweet flavour, isn't it? That's wonderful.
And the wax you can use for candles. The good about keeping bees in suburbia is you're not only getting pollination for your garden, but also for neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And honey actually contains all different sorts of flowers. So you can't really say whether it's ironbark or whatever, it's everything.
No, it's urban honey.
The urban honey, which is actually usually much better than honey from a farm or somewhere.
One source, yeah. Awesome, it's fabulous.
Yeah. The other interesting thing about bees, it's amazing to watch them, how they're flying out and bringing in different colors of pollen on their legs. Pollen is actually 5 times more concentrated protein than meat.
Yeah.
And it contains a lot of minerals and trace elements. Yeah. And you harvest not only honey and pollen, but also propolis, which is really good for the healing purposes. So all this together, beehive is must to do.
Yeah.
And even if you are allergic to bee stung, you can have a native bees which are stingless.
Stingless, absolutely. So every backyard you reckon should have a beehive, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's such a great fun.
Excellent. Okay, Roman, so what have we got here? This is your ingenious invention watering system. What have you got that you've used here to create this system?
This is just a simple system, gravity-fed irrigation system. Water from a rainwater tank comes through pipe into this vacuum cleaner pipe, and watering rows at the end, and it actually gives really nice sprinkle over the garden bed. You don't need to have a high or big high difference. 1 meter is enough
To get that gravity feed to come down.
and give you really nice pressure on that.
And so it just goes to show how many different things you can recycle, and just so cheap and so
Just
easy
use
to
common
do.
sense, and that's all what you need.
Yep, great,
Really simple and functional.
awesome.
Up next, Norbert Dett with